Also, you can listen to us on Rab Cable Channel 974 or watch us live on Facebook. You can also catch us on TuneIn Radio or Global Radio 99.5fm.com. If you don't have any Wi-Fi, listen to us on your landline phone by dialing 712-775-8229. You can also text us or WhatsApp us on 809-2310 to be a part of the conversation.
Good afternoon, Bahamas. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson sitting in for Orton H. Bodie Jr. on Express Yourself on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. And Bahamians, it's good to be here on this Monday. Beautiful country, a beautiful people, a people who are committed to certain standards and principles, and we need to be assured that we're going to live by those standards and live by those principles. It is most important that we recognize what is going on in our country. In fact, the House of Assembly is meeting today. I believe they've already suspended until this afternoon at 3 o'clock. They're supposed to be coming back. So they will be doing, as we ought to understand, the business of the people. Sometimes you wonder whether they're doing their own business or whether they're doing the people's business, and whether the voices of the people are being heard in the House of Assembly. In fact, the House of Assembly is for the express purpose of the views of the citizenry to be heard. And listening to the comments made by the MP for Kalani, I heard about a number of things that he said he did for his constituency. And Bahamians, let me just say this, that there are some major issues that affect the constituency of Kalani, as it affects the constituency of Centerville, where I live, and many other constituencies on the island of New Providence. Putting in a park, putting in some speed bumps, is that the kind of representation do you want? Or do you want to see major constituency problems solved? Not what you're going to do. Like I understand this so-called 350 million. I don't know where the people get these figures from, but $350 million is supposed to be invested in Grand Bahama. It hasn't happened yet, but it's a proposed investment. It could be a proposal on the table today, this afternoon. It could be withdrawn. But this is something that has been touted today in the House of Assembly. And I have heard over the last 55 years, next January the 10th, 55 years, Bahamians, I've heard all kinds of things from politicians. But it's what you do while you're there. What has this administration done over the last 4 years plus? What major national problems has the current administration solved on behalf of the Bahamian people? Incidentally, we had another murder in Chippingham last night. A man was shot multiple times about the body. He was also shot in his head. And when the EMS people came, they said he was lifeless. If you get shot in your head and you start to bleed, and if it's not dealt with very, very quickly, you can die. Unfortunately, this gentleman is in his early 30s. And Bahamians, it hurts me very deeply, having worked with young people for almost 50 years, to see the kind of violence being perpetrated against the male population of this country. We're killing off too many males of color. We just don't seem to know how to behave, particularly in the black belt areas of our country. There's just too much violence, too much wickedness, too much evil. We can't seem to get on well with each other. Why are we like that, Bahamians? We have many churches in these communities. And the question will be asked, what is the church doing? What are you doing as a citizen? What are you as parents doing to train and develop your children? And so the thing is that we have to learn how to behave and conduct ourselves. Now, there are some who are walking contrary to law. It is the duty of law enforcement to see to it that citizens who obey the law are protected. Now, I know the police in my area is doing a commendable job. I know the officer in charge where I am works very hard with his team to keep the area safe. And it is relatively safe. I must give them credit for that. And they've not been taking too long to get the complaints. I used to complain about the police in the past. But there seemed to have been a slight improvement. Notice what I said, a slight improvement, which means they're doing better. Even BTC is doing better with the service. In fact, they were by my house just shortly before I came here. And I must say the females who deal with the technical areas of fixing these phones and getting them set up and climbing the pole and getting on the ladder and getting to the roof, they're very, very efficient. The women technicians are very, very efficient at BTC. So they have stepped up their service a bit, and I am thankful for that. I know how it used to be just a short while ago, but they seem to be working to improve. So we have to give them encouragement. I don't want to say anything negative about BTC. I've been with them for over almost 50 years. And you don't just walk away from a telephone company just like that, having been with them for decades, having the same telephone, the same number. You get attached to that number, you get attached to that company. Because I've had opportunity, people tell me I could leave a long time. I said, no, I think I'll stick with BDC. If there's any problem, I would call them and tell them, and they work to try to get it resolved. And they always have an apologetic thing to tell you, and that's fine, all well and good, but I tell them we just want the service. But it seems as if they are improving on the service, and that's good. And the police are also improving on their service. Now, I don't normally say these things about entities out there unless I have evidence that they are doing well and mean well. So those two are coming along okay. And please encourage them. Give them a word of encouragement when they do something positive. Don't nail them and beat them into the ground. Don't do those kinds of things. I know sometimes we get upset about services in this country. There's a need for general improvement. But let me get back to the government of the Bahamas. The government of the Bahamas, the current administration, the cabinet. Well, they say they got the competent authority and he's using emergency powers. And Bahamians, how those powers are being used is questionable. The curfew now has been extended from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning. Well, that is okay. I understand in Grand Bahama it's 12 o'clock until 5 a.m. in the morning. So that is something that is being done under the emergency powers. It seems as if the Prime Minister likes to use his emergency powers. Do we have a caller, Mr. Producer? Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please. Caller? Are you there?
Oh. Good day, Mr. Thompson. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, I was wondering if you were there. How are you? Good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm all right.
Yeah, okay.
I'm okay. Today's a good day. It ain't too sunny and it ain't rainy.
No, it's nice.
Today.
It's nice.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Mr.
It's
Thompson.
nice. Yes, sir.
Mr. Thompson. You heard about those craft that were trying to illegally smuggle people to America, 2 different boats. One capsized and the next one gets caught.
I did hear about that, yes, sir.
Yeah, in the first incident where the little boy, I think, and a lady died, right?
Uh-huh.
And when that first happened, they said there was a police, at the end of the story, the police was saying that they don't know if they could find the captain, right?
Yes.
And then a couple of days later, well, they say the captain is Bahamian.
Okay.
But this is not fun. I mean, if the captain is Bahamian, right? The boat, the vessel, but they over time wasn't a sloop. It was a registered vessel, right?
Yes.
Or supposed to be registered if it's on the water, and the captain's supposed to have a captain license, right?
Yes.
If the captain is Bahamian, don't you think that there's some Bahamian family somewhere in the Commonwealth of Bahamas would be put a missing person on notice to say that their relative is missing, probably at sea or something, to really bring that story together to make it sound like it's true? Because I mean, like, if it says Bahamian, didn't you think someone would say, even though they were doing like that human trafficking thing, their family relatives would still come forward because they ain't like they could get locked up, eh?
Yes, I understand you.
So I mean, like, common sense could show anybody that that's what happened. But I mean, like, we'll watch this play out, and no Bahamian family will come forward to say their relative is missing or nothing, but the story will just go away. And the second boat, well, the captain was on the boat. Why we here before the courts this heavy penalty for human trafficking? Because the last Bahamian crew that I know was gone out, must be partying somewhere around Freeport or something like that, when 3 people died, 2 girls and a boy, and the boat captain went before the courts and thing, and another guy who organized it, and they were, at least it's before the courts. I don't know what the outcome is, but at least it's before the courts. You understand what I'm saying? So why is it that our biggest problem, you say, talk about the problems that the government solved, one of the biggest problems that the government even ain't trying to solve, right? And we sit by as a society, when we break the law, we are punished. We don't call out inhumane treatment and all kind of brutality and stuff, because the law, when you break it, well, it's a penalty, and we face it.
Yes,
right?
that's correct.
So why is it that, I mean, like, the second boat, like I said, that went, had the same incident, no, there's no kind of record of this boat captain as the numerous boat captains that made the same trek time and time again, and persons died. Remember the 28 persons who died, but they had this official funeral with 28 coffins with the Bahamas government purchased. Remember that one?
I remember that one.
Joe Biden Road.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's like more of an encouragement than a discouragement, because when we look at, if the government was really interested, the government would have, I'm talking about, they charging us $3,000 to $5,000 just for walking on the land. They say you're walking an hour too late or 10 minutes too late, you got to pay. Or you've been up with this big crowd, you got to pay, right? So why is it that, saying that the coffers are so depleted, and the government basically trying to find every means or any means necessary to tax people out of their mind, why is it that they allow this negative, it ain't positive for the Bahamas, it's negative all around, to thrive, and I mean not to be punished? And if they're even thinking about punish, the word humane comes in. You know, we need to get it right in this country, Mr. Thompson, because I mean,
yes, sir.
I mean, ain't hating nobody, Mr. Thompson. You know that the bottom line is that if as citizens, if we are being punished by the law, any means the law, once we do wrong, we get our punishment, we got to go to jail, we got to do whatever the punishment is. Why these people who even, I mean, some of them even have no status or anything, and they only charge $300 when everyone else getting charged $3,000. Those persons on that boat, how about the COVID test? How about the COVID passport and all that? All the stuff they would imply upon Bahamians when they break certain regulations they put in place. You know, I ain't hearing nothing about that. I mean, it needs to stop. It needs to stop, because I mean, all they're doing is basically, like, remember the Willie Lynch land where they say that they put like the man against the woman, the boy against the father, the color against the next one, the nationality. See, want me to do something? That's all they're doing, you know. Because I mean, like, all the Haitian people, and that's, I mean, they're white and black, but mostly black, right? All is the one thing, right? But then when you could take that, it's like in a family, when you get a mother or dad who love a certain child, and the rest of them, they don't like, you know, that one particular child getting everything, and you can't touch that one, because if you even look at the one eye, you're getting beaten. That's what the Bahamian people are going through, you know. The one, I mean, it's like, it ain't right, and it needed to change like 40, 50 years ago now, but it's still, I guess it's still stronger than we are as Bahamians, and it needs to change, you know.
Well, thank you for your contribution.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all the best to you now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, okay. The column raised a number of issues, and I just want to mention a few things on that. The thing is, Bahamians, that we have to put the pressure in the right places. For example, representation in the House of Assembly. This has been a long-standing problem in our country, illegal immigration. We've been having problems with Haitians, Dominican Republic people, people from Cuba, and we really haven't done justice to the Bahamian people as far as dealing very firmly, very strongly against persons who are involved in smuggling, people who are entering the country illegally. The fines are very light, and Bahamians are being hit very hard. $500, you don't have your mask on, or you're found outside breaking the COVID rules. The courts have come down very hard against the Bahamians. You're selling coconut water, you're selling some coconuts trying to make a living, or canaps, you don't have a permit. They come down very hard against Bahamian citizens. But you have people operating businesses in the country without a license. And yet still, nothing appears to happen to these persons. They operate openly. You even see this among other nationalities. The point is, we're going to have to address this problem quickly. It has been going on for too long. Bahamians have taken a passive attitude. We're going to have to take a rigid, hard stand. We cannot sit back. And let me just say this. We're going to have to put pressure on your parliamentary representative to get some things done. The parliamentary representative, this caller was talking about issues about immigration. You need the action of a government. Now, your representative, to speak for you, is your representative in the House of Assembly. He represents you on two levels. One, your constituency level, and two, the national level. That's the way it is in the system. The representative has to work in cooperation with the government. Now, unfortunately, we just don't seem to get it right. And this has been a major problem for the last 55 plus years, since party politics came into the country. 1953, of course, the PLP was formed. 1956, they were in the House of Assembly. They've been in the House of Assembly ever since, from 56 right on up to this very day as I speak to you right now. They have always had representation in the House of Assembly and in the Senate. And also they've had representation in the government. Now, of course, the UPP was in existence back in '67 when the PLP came to power, and then there was amalgamation of the UPP with some free PLPs, and they became the FNM in 1971. They formed their party, ran the election in 1972, and they were unanimously crushed. PLP got a resounding victory in '72. But there was also one in '68 between the PLP and the UPP at that time. The point is, the person who represents you in the House of Assembly, constituents, you have very serious constituency problems. You don't even address them. You don't put any pressure on your representative to get them resolved. Look what happens when a family member dies in a given family. The difficulties, the ups and downs they have to go through with collecting on insurances. They give you all kind of runaround. And then there are problems that continue to plague citizens while they're living. And these problems are never resolved. These problems are common throughout all constituencies. Some problems are unique to certain constituencies that are not unique to others. But we have major constituency problems in Centerville. Ain't none of them get solved yet. You had a representative who was there, was prime minister for 10 years. I mean, how much more power do you want? You had the highest, not the highest office in the land, but the highest office in the government of the Bahamas. You know, the Governor General represents Her Majesty the Queen. That's the highest office in the country. but the second highest office being the office of Prime Minister. This individual had it for 10 years. What has happened to Centerville over that 10-year span when he had the office of Prime Minister? Then at the last, he lost his seat, and you lose your seat, you lose the office of Prime Minister. A crushing blow for one who has been in politics for 40 years. And you leave the constituency in shambles. Major problems in Centerville, in Bain and Grangetown, in all these constituencies on the Island Province are not being addressed in the House of Assembly by the representatives of those constituencies. You're going to have to put pressure on your representative to deal with issues that affect you, both nationally and constituency-wise. Now here's where the problem comes in. Two major parties have had the opportunity to run this country for almost 55 years. Whether it was the PLP and the UBP, and then of course the PLP and the FNM. The point is 55 years to run the country. They've been in government, they've been in opposition. And both parties have had the domination of the legal fraternity. The legal fraternity has dominated the government, dominated the Senate, dominated the judiciary, dominated the House of Assembly. And do you know the people in this country know nothing about law? They know nothing about constitutional law. They know nothing about statute law. They are completely oblivious. That's why you see the way how they behave. They know nothing how to behave, Bahamians. That's why they carry on the way they do. The representatives of these constituencies have not assisted them. Many of them don't know the law anyhow. And it would seem as if those who have had training in law are very selfish. They don't share anything with their constituents, give them basic understanding about constitutional law. But plenty of them don't know the Constitution. That's point number one. Let me put that out there. And number two, with statute laws, and there's plenty of them, you got hundreds of statute laws, which the people are not even aware of. They know nothing about law. We keep them in blindness. And when you keep constituents blind and oblivious to what's going on, they act ignorantly. They don't know any better. They've never been taught better. So we have problems, Bahamians. Real serious social problems in these black belt areas throughout the island of New Providence. And look at street lighting. Street lighting is a major problem on the island of New Providence. You can't even drive properly in the night. Darkness all over the place. It's like you're in the back of the bush in Andros. Lighting is extremely dangerous for people who have to drive at night. And most of your people live on the island of New Providence. Look at the man who just ran off the road into one coconut tree. And he's dead now. You can't bring him back. He ran off the road into a coconut tree. And now he's dead. They call it an accident. We don't have proper street lighting on the island of New Providence. It is a major national problem. And you got BPL right here. What is BPL doing? What is the Minister of Works doing? Well, he's responsible. That's Mr. Dennis, Mr. Bannister. Desmond Bannister is his name. The Honorable Desmond Bannister. He's the MP for Carmichael. Carmichael, I got some serious social problems too. What major constituency problems has Mr. Bannister solved in the Carmichael constituency over the last 4 years? This is his 5th year. I ain't talking about putting up no little park or putting little speed bumps in the road. That ain't solving nothing. Article 52.1 of your Constitution speaks to the kind of representation that should be coming from a parliamentarian. But these fellas get all mixed up. All they do is sit in that house and tell you what party they belong to. This is an FNM government. This is a PLP government. What kind of crap is that? Well, that's how they behave. They have done it consistently for the last 55 years plus. And so people get all mixed up. They say, I think the FNM is the government. And you don't know when a person speaks. Are they speaking for themselves? Are they speaking for the representative of their constituency? Are they speaking as a minister? Or what? You don't know. You're left wondering as to what is happening. But they never have gotten it set up as yet. Mr. Producer, we have a caller. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Walter Johnson.
Yes, ma'am. Who is it? This Berenice?
This is Berenice Johnson.
Yeah, make it short now. Don't go into no long dissertation. Get right to your point, please.
What happened? What happened? They harass you for allowing me to speak freely?
Listen to me carefully. I don't want you to go into no long dissertation about Mr. Ingram and other people. Just get right to the point.
Mr. Ingram is back. God is using him.
Bernice, I don't want to get into all of that. I want you to just speak to the issue that you want to discuss.
Okay, the issue I would love to speak to. See, we need to have no taxes increase on our people. And that's where Mr. Ingram comes in. That's why I intentionally says it. And those who probably objecting to you for me saying it, especially those former woman parliamentarians, they know why. Because CLECO, our people needs their homes, Mr. Thompson. They will be replaced, because I thought that Mr. Bodie would have been here, because Mr. Bodie was one of the assistants with the Reverend Simeon Hall in collecting those items.
Yes,
the next point I have, right, is that I place documents in Prime Minister Minnis' hand, the Minister of Works' hand, the opposition leader, because what I call on the radio, Mr. Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson, I call for national solution, because we have it, okay? The point in fact is they are under, I would say, deadly duress, because I have put something very serious in their hands about what was going on in national insurance, social services. Bank of the Bahamas too have been sold, and not one has said, okay, let's have a meeting with Ms. Berenice Johnson. I know to which I speak, and we don't need to increase taxes on our people. And those who trying to form all these other parties, they are colored people, not white Bahamians, who are financing this, okay?
Yes,
and that's one of the reasons why I haven't received my money from National Insurance. It was sent out to Bank of the Bahamas on 3 occasions, and it has not come through because of certain women who now has placed a new director there, but the same old letter is there for our people. Our people are being denied their national monies from national insurance, because I have paid my national insurance, but the point in fact is Taxi Cab Union did not pay their own, so my own was withheld, so I was told to stay in as a decoy to investigate it. And when the actuary resigned from 2008, Derek Osborne, they want to say that my money was misplaced, my identity stolen, but that is not my responsibility.
Yes,
the Prime Minister, the Minister who now is the Minister of Finance, when they stole Mr. Peter Turnquest, I told them that we are dealing with transnational organized crime. And if you see the late Bernard Nottage did not put that in the halls of Parliament, this nation would be worse than it is. And I am expecting my money, because the former woman parliamentarians, especially Janet Boswick, she has affairs with the National Insurance. She was once the Minister of National Insurance there,
yes,
and
ma'am.
she has the powers to release my money like yesterday. And she said that it will be where I will drink water out of sieve, okay? And it is wrong, and I am. Dr. Minnis said today that if you're hungry and if you're clothed, if you're naked, you need to be clothed. For
Yes.
quoting Matthew 25 in the House of Assembly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? So now I need my money because I need to fix myself.
Yes,
Okay?
but-
And it's outstanding now. Thank you for your time, but I
Yeah,
wanted
let me-
Bodie to be here.
Let me
Because
make
this
this.
was about Bodie.
Don't go yet, Berenice. I just want to make this point. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You said you gave the information to the current administration, right?
I put it in his hand,
Okay.
Mr. Tingham.
Well, I hope they will act on the information because you seem to have the facts on what you're talking about.
But do you remember when? Let me engage you, please, because remember when the opposition? Because I gave a copy to the opposition. It's all national situation. We don't need no tax increase. The
Yes,
point
ma'am.
and fact is right. What has happened is that the opposition made an announcement said that why was Algernon Cargill, who was then the director of National Insurance, why was he given so much money to step down? That was when I was there. I was instructed to stay on as a decoy to investigate because they wanted to accuse Mr. Ingram and mix him up with his impersonator that he was a part of money laundering. This is geopolitics, and this is why I told them to partner 100% with the United States of America. And I had to go to the U.S. Embassy and tell them that Mr. Ingram was not the one. He's the only honest politician. And until that happens, and especially Miss Janet Boswick, she has the power because she told her cousin, said, I will tote water in sieve before I get anything. But now it has backlash on her in Jesus' mighty name. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Okay. Berenice seemed to be on an issue that perhaps she said she gave the evidence both to the government and to the opposition. And I hope the matter could be resolved because more than her is just involved in this issue. We're going to go to a break. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson sitting for Arthur H. Bodie on Express Yourself. We'll be back after the break.
It's the one and the only Jeff Fox Show. All right, let's go. Welcome to the Jeff Fox Show. We're getting ready to do I Can't With That. I Can't With That means if you could do this, you're cool with it. But if you can't, just say I can't with that.
Okay.
Your new boyfriend is very, very social, which means he's inviting a lot of friends over all the time.
I can't with that. I can't.
Well, come on now, Nina, you social.
Yeah, I mean, I know, but I also am not going to go and date a club promoter. That's what he sounds like.
Jeff Fox with Kiki Brown and Nina.
Hey, you guys can expect to have your first COVID shots available to the general public sometime in the early spring.
Okay, we got until springtime.
Yeah, and I've done a poll today, and not a lot of people are interested. Not black people. We're not interested.
Okay, not doing it.
Here's the scenario, Nina, since I know you don't want to do it. This nice, fine doctor comes up to you. He's got the needle, but he also single, and he just wants to give you the shot.
Okay.
Are you going to do it?
He could give me a birth control shot, but not that.
Great times and the best music.
Weekdays from 4 to 7 on the afternoon ride. Only on Global 99.5.
Hey folks, this just hot off the press. Photo Magic now has 3 locations. There's the Mall at Marathon, East Street and Andrews Avenue, and now check out the new location on Carmichael and Fire Trail Road. Photo Magic offers you the best with painstaking professionalism, cutting-edge digital printing, and specially designed packages. Wedding packages start at $700, photos only, and $1,300 including a DVD. Capture every sentimental or fabulous moment moment with Photo Magic, now offering you 3 locations. The Mall at Marathon, 601-0223. East Street and Andrews Avenue, 326-3825. And newly opened Carmichael and Fire Trail Road location, 603-0078. We'll see you at Photo Magic.
Balfour Consumer Fresh Meat Mart on the corner of Balfour Avenue and Charles Vincent Street brings you the best competitive prices in town.
Facts, y'all, facts.
Check out the 4-pack Suave Tissue, 2 for $3. So Fresh Hand Towel, 99 cents. Lace Chips, 12 for $5.99. Chef Boyardee, 4 for $5. Niagara Spray Starch, 3 for $6. Alberto Cornflake, $1.99. Meat packages from $14.99. 5-pound meatballs, $12.79. Sheepdog, $2.99 per pound. Raw cooked shrimp, $9.99 per pound. Leg quarters, 99 cents per pound. Drumsticks, 89 cents per pound. Whole wings, $1.69.
$1.69.
That's right, and ground beef, $3.89 per pound.
And they ship to the Family Island.
Shipping to the Family Islands and more. Balfour Consumer Fresh Meat Mart, where there's freshness you can taste and value you can trust. Open Monday to Thursday, 7 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sunday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Telephone 326-4702.
Balfour Consumer Fresh Meat Mart.
Reach.
What?
What you mean what?
I ain't psychotic. I don't know what you're talking about.
The new Super Watch we've been talking about forever.
Oh, so where exactly it is?
On Carmichael Road, just before you get to Gladstone Road, that's if you're heading west.
I wonder how big this one is.
Big. 82 washers.
Well, motto.
And 64 dryers.
Now the time for the cowbell and drums.
And the pom-pom shorts.
Pom-pom shorts?
Yeah, you thought I was skylarking, eh? The pom-pom shorts is going on. I know how, but they going on.
You know if the elastic snap? No telling where this may end up.
You stay right there. You better try and rub down in baby oil.
Super Wash. They washes you, presses you, cleans you at their brand new Super Wash on Carmichael Road West. Just before Gladstone.
Today's challenge, ease of doing business. Open System Technologies International is the leading provider of enterprise content management, business continuity, and cybersecurity solutions in the Bahamas. Scan, capture, archive your documents and files electronically, reduce the potential of fraud or the disclosure of confidential information, improve productivity and efficiency, be prepared for disasters and business continuity like Hurricane Dorian or COVID-19 pandemic. Save money on administration, printing, and off-site storage costs. Go paperless with a cloud enterprise content management subscription. Work remotely, work digitally, work safely. To learn more, contact us at 328-6736 or 603-6736. Visit our website at www.opensystems-bs.com. Open Systems Technologies International.
Quality seafood you can trust for service you can rely on. Visit Geneva Brass Seafood, number 19 Eden Street, Chippingham. Purchase quality tenderized conch, snappers, grouper fillet, and lobster tails, all at affordable prices. Geneva Brass Seafood is open Tuesday to Saturday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays and holidays, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Percy, Roberts, and staff are ready to serve you with pleasure. Geneva Brass Seafood, number 19 Eden Street, Chippingham. For quality seafood you can trust, for service you can rely on.
Welcome back. Express yourself. Today's show is being brought to you by Super Wash and Balfour Consumer Meat Mart. To participate in this show, you only have to call us on 326-0271 or 326-0272. Also, you can listen to us on RAB Cable Channel 974 or watch us live on Facebook. You can also catch us on TuneIn Radio or Global Radio 99.5 FM.com. If you don't have any Wi-Fi, listen to us on your landline phone by dialing 712-775-8229. You can also text us or WhatsApp us on 809-2310 to be a part of the conversation.
We are back. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson sitting in for Arthur H. Bodie Jr. on Express Yourself at 99.5 FM, Global Radio. The Bahamas, this is a great day in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We have freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom to impart ideas and opinions. And what Berenice did say, one thing I have to agree with her is we don't need any more taxes. We have enough taxes on our backs as it stands now. And I think the government of the Bahamas has to find a way how to bring relief to the masses in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We have a lot of things going for us, and no taxes are being collected in a whole lot of areas that somehow the government has overlooked. We're going to have to advise the government of the Bahamas. We're going to have to speak through our representatives and let them know, because it doesn't seem as if they fully understand. We're going to have to call some things specifically to their attention. It is very important that we do that. I believe we have a caller online. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please. Caller, you there?
Mr. Thompson?
Hello, yes, how are you?
Man, I am good. I could barely hear you. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well.
How you spend your Father's Day?
Well, I got a present on Father's Day from
What you
a
got?
surprise individual.
What you got?
A nice gift.
Well, them people, they can look out for you because you're a good man.
Well, that is true. I'm not going to dispute that. There are people that look out for me. And I am grateful for those that, assist from time to time.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But I had a good Father's Day, yeah.
You know what we got to be grateful for? We got to be grateful for this administration, the Minister-led administration. Minister has been a good person towards, for our country. We couldn't find a better person.
I'm going to ask you the question that I always would ask. I can't seem to not get an answer. If he is good as you claim he is,
right?
Can you name what major national problems has the administration solved on behalf of the Bahamian people? And here are the clear-cut benefits that come to the Bahamian people as a result of these major national problems having been solved.
So, Mr. Thompson, because I remember last time I didn't answer that you got mad and cut me. If I ignore the question and just speak about how good Minister is,
No. I'm not interested in how good you think he is. I asked you a specific question. Now, if you're not able to answer it, you could say, Mr. Thompson, I'm not able to answer the question. That's fine. I could live with that, and then if you want to speak on any issue, well, then that's permissible.
Okay,
but I expect, let me just make this point clear. I expect a government that has borrowed billions of dollars,
right,
on behalf of the Bahamian people.
Right.
I expect a government to do something for the Bahamian people. Okay?
So, but isn't he doing things for the Bahamian people?
No, I am asking.
Grants to assist and promote small businesses. Isn't he offering?
Caller, listen to me. Listen to me carefully. I'm not interested in those nitpicking things that you're talking about. I'm not interested in that.
Okay.
What I'm interested in is, can you name any major national problems that the this is the Minister administration, I get it right, that the Minister administration has solved on behalf of the Bahamian people? And here are the clear-cut benefits that come to the Bahamian people as a result.
If you'll accept my answer, right? I think first of all, getting rid of Perry Christendom and think that was nice. And the clear-cut benefit is that we are now under a government who.
Mr. Producer, please cut the caller. I can't tolerate that. Mr. Producer.
I tired of calling when you want.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Mr. Producer, please cut the caller.
Cut him. Stop bringing you on this show, Dre. Because
See, this is the kind of crap we hear from persons who have a political leaning. My question was specifically clear. What major national problems has the current administration solved on behalf of the Bahamian people? If you, caller, not able to answer the question, then say, Mr. Thompson, I'm not able to answer the question. That would be fine with me. Now you want to politicize the show. I can't allow that. What you just said was utter rubbish and nonsense. It ought not to be on air. When callers you call in, if you're not able to answer, see, the purpose of a government is to solve national problems. If the current administration has not done that, or you don't know whether they have solved any, then say, Mr. Thompson, I don't know. Because if a problem has been solved, there would be clear-cut benefits that come to the Bahamian people as a result of these problems having been solved. I'm not talking about what you're trying to do. Like they say this program in Grand Bahama, they wrote it on paper, say $350 million. That doesn't mean anything to me. That's just something on paper. Paper would sit still and let you write any crap on it. The point is we need solutions to national problems. We got this crime problem. See the man get killed in Chippingham again. You know, another gentleman lost his life, a young man. So we know the crime problem hasn't been solved. The murders continue in this country. We got a minister of national security. And he always likes to talk about these initiatives that they're supposed to be doing. But you see the murder rate keeps climbing, Bahamians. People just passing by, just shooting down one another. What kind of nonsense is this? We need to see solutions to problems. If you haven't solved the criminal element, if you've not solved the murder problem, then say the government of Bahamas has not solved the murder problem. You would be correct. They haven't. But if you don't know, see, the problem is you show utter ignorance and stupidity when you start running on with foolishness and nonsense. And I'm not going to allow that as long as I'm doing the shows here, Global, or any other station for that matter. Callers, I ask questions, and I'm going to put the two questions I'm going to ask both of representatives in the House of Assembly and members of the government. One, what major national problems has the government of the Bahamas solved on behalf of the Bahamian people? And here are the clear-cut benefits that come to the Bahamian people as a result of these major national problems having been solved. That's the first question. Now, if you don't know how to answer the question, or you don't know the answer to it, then say, I don't know. Second question. What major constituency problems have been solved by the representative of your constituency? And here are the clear-cut benefits that come to the people of that particular constituency as a result of these major constituency problems having been solved. Bahamians, if you're not getting answers to those two questions, you might as well not have any representatives. What's the point of having them? What's the point of having a government that cannot solve national problems? What's the point? You tell me what the reason should be. Just there to spend money, billions of dollars, and at the end of the day you get nothing for it? Is that what you're telling me? Just to say you moved this one from power? The people decided that. Minister didn't do that. The people did that. They gave him the chair. They took one man out and put somebody else in the chair. Now, what has he done in that office of Prime Minister? He's head of the government. He's head of the cabinet. Now, of course, this competent authority thing, I got to look into that a little bit clearly, because no one has yet explained in simple, basic, fundamental language. The man say he's the voice of the competent authority. And some other people saying some other things. That's an issue I have to really delve into a little deeply. I don't want to really speak to that right now. But the governor of the Bahamas has had the opportunity. In fact, that political party got 35 seats in the general election. 35 seats out of 39. How many more seats must you have? You want all 39? Or somebody in Barbados got all the seats. Well, he got 35. All of these laws that have been passed by former administrations, which are detrimental to the welfare of the Bahamian people. If the government of the Bahamas is serious, if the legislators are serious, they could deal with those problems. We still got those burdens around our neck. They ain't going nowhere. You just have changes in faces. And then people sit in the house to say, I'm a member of the F&M party. They just can't get that in their heads, party affiliation and parliamentary representation. It has haunted the Bahamian people for the last 55 years plus. And they ain't get it clear of yet. I'm not interested in what party you belong to. When you go to BTC, they don't say, if you're a member of St. Barnabas Church, don't come to work to BTC because you're a member of St. Barnabas Church. You go to St. Barnabas Church on Sunday, then you go to BTC on Monday. But you also live in a constituency. Maybe you live in the constituency of Golden Gates. The same individual. Go to St. Barnabas Church, go to BTC, and live in Golden Gates constituency. And there's no confusion over that. But any time when it comes to parliamentary representation, there's always confusion. I am not interested in what political party you belong to. That doesn't amount to hill of beans to me. I'm not interested in that. The Constitution speaks to people forming political parties. The Constitution speaks to the fact that you could be a member of a political party. That's all well and good. You could also be a member of a church. You could be a member of a lodge. The same individual could belong to 6 or 7 different organizations. It's kind of stretching yourself a little thin. I don't know whether they could fulfill all those roles. You live in a particular constituency, you pay a light bill. PEC come and collect the light bill from you, or you go to their office. You got to pay a cable bill. Same person living in the same constituency. Ain't nothing changed. But ain't no confusion with that. PEC get their money. Cable get their money. But any time when it comes to choosing a representative, people get all titsy about what party they belong to. Huh? Choosing a parliamentary representative is totally different from choosing a party representative. A party representative may run in a general election or a by-election. But it's the people of the particular constituency that chooses one particular person to represent their views in the House of Assembly. But we not seem to get that across. Look how they carry on in the House of Assembly. The crap they run on with. Even as early as today. This nonsense and this foolishness has been going on 55 years plus. Bahamians, we got to wake up, you know. Is this the kind of parliament you want? Sometimes they tell you they go in with the Westminster system and then at other times they ain't going with it. What kind of nonsense is that? What is it that you expect from a government? You expect a government to keep spending billions and billions and billions of dollars and piling up the Bahamian people with debt, and you get nothing for it. Is that what you want, Bahamians? We have to demand results from a national government. It is pointless having a national government that cannot help the Bahamian people, that cannot solve problems. It is pointless having a representative of the House of Assembly that cannot solve major constituency problems. Check the evidence, Bahamians. You ought to know whether your representative is doing that or not. Do we have a caller, producer? Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please. We don't or we do? Okay. The point is that we have, see, here's the problem with Bahamian people. And I've watched this for some time. Bahamians, you got to demand something better from your representative, from your government. And do not politicize the government. There's no such thing as no F&M government. There's no such thing as no PLP government. You know, it's not, you show it to me in the Constitution then? Yeah. Then I'll believe you. Can you hear me? So when a person sits in that house as a representative, that person ought to speak on behalf of the people of that constituency and present their views to the government of the day. That's what a representative is supposed to do. If you're not getting that, then what's the point? I believe as Bahamians, we need to demand more from our representatives. A lot of you don't know the Constitution. That's another problem again. But you got to get out of this habit of not knowing your Constitution, not understanding what your representative ought to do, not understanding what the Senate's supposed to do, not understanding what a government ought to do. I believe we have a call online. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Walter Thompson.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I heard that our Constitution was put up in the air today. Them low lords and the 3-2 votes, any payment to pass on their citizenship. Did you hear that?
No, caller, could you just start over from the beginning? Because I didn't quite get what you said.
The English low lords says any payment can pass on their citizenship, single or not, woman or man.
I didn't get that last part. You said the warlord...
The Privy Council said any Bahamian man could pass on their citizenship then.
Any Bahamian man?
Any Bahamian. And a 3-2 vote, their citizenship.
Oh, I don't know nothing about that.
Yes, that came down today.
No,
remember when Ian Winder gave the man his citizenship? And AG went to the Privy Council? Well, the AG lost today.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. But I appreciate you mentioning it on air if you have the facts. I haven't heard
No, it was on the Warren McCartney show. He came and said it. In the 3-2 vote, the people put our Constitution up in the air. Remember, they don't live here. They don't know. They go by what they feeling and seeing and all that. But they said that Constitution, our Constitution, I guess they must rewrote it. So that's what called a conundrum now. That any Bahamian can pass on their citizenship. Any Bahamian, man or woman, married or not.
Wait a minute now. Any Bahamian man,
yes,
married or not married,
yes,
can pass on his citizenship to...
Yes.
That's a ruling from the Privy Council.
Yes, sir.
I got to look at that one.
And that's going to put our men, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Anybody who live anywhere in the world, what is that?
I hear what you're saying.
So look at that. We're in trouble.
But I'm going to look at it a little closely. But thank you for
putting
the information
and the man is
there.
Roll against AG. Roll against AG. That's the name of the court, the document. All right.
Name the court document again. You said
it's Roll against AG.
Roll against AG.
Against the AG, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate that information.
Yeah, all right.
And thank you, caller. Well, he made something very interesting. I know the Privy Council is the highest court in our country. And the problem is you find that these judges, they make ruling, and we respect the ruling of a judge. But there are some things that the Bahamian people have to determine for themselves. Because it is always the best thing to allow persons who are not too familiar with what's happening in your country to have the final say on a lot of things that we leave open for these things to happen. We should have dealt with Article 71 years ago. 7-1, not 71. Article 7-1 years ago, where people have used and abused the Constitution for their own selfish purposes. But the caller's made an interesting point. I will look into that very closely. And it remains to be seen how that will pan out. The Constitution of the Commonwealth of Bahamas is the supreme law. And of course, a ruling by a judge, and in this case it's the Privy Council. I just have to look at that and see what that's all about. But that's the understanding the caller has gotten, and that's fine. He has a right to express that view. But I know what the situation is as it is now. But he said that that has changed. But we'll have to look at that and see what happened. The line's open, 326-0271, 326-0272. Bahamians, we have to watch what is happening in our country. We have some people who have not the best interests of the Bahamian people. You have to be very careful of the persons you send to do your business in the government of the Bahamas. These people are supposed to protect the interests of the Bahamian people. You can't just leave it wide open to a particular judge who may have a particular fancy, who may have a particular leaning somewhere. A government ought to protect the interests of the Bahamian people. And the question now has to be, has the government done that? If what the caller said is correct. Article 7.1 of the Constitution should have been dealt with long ago. We just left it lingering and lingering and lingering. The illegals got a hold of it. And now, if what he said is true, we do have some serious challenges ahead. Very serious challenges. And it just seems as if we're going from one crisis to the other. There are things, Bahamians, we as a people are going to have to put our foot down and say no to. Court or no court. We're going to have to take matters into our own hand to protect our own interests. Article 24.1. So we can't sit back and wait for... He said the ruling was 3-2. 5 people sitting. Very slim pass. Wasn't unanimous. But 1 vote could pass the thing. That's the system. We have to live with it. So it's important that we understand we're going to have to take an active interest in what a government is doing. And particularly this one we got now, you better take an active interest in what's going on. You just cannot sit back and say, okay, the government's going to handle it and everything will be okay. We have seen crisis after crisis after crisis after crisis after crisis. In this current administration, we seem not to get anything solved. That's why I asked the question. Can you name any major national problems that the current administration has solved on behalf of the Bahamian people? And if what the caller said is true, that's a nail in the coffin. That's another nail in the coffin. And it's going to be very difficult for the Bahamian people. If what he said is true, I see where it's going to present some serious problems for our country. But the Bahamian people are going to have to rise to the challenge and do something about it. Caller, producer, we have a caller?
Hello?
Yeah, hello, caller. You're live on air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. This might not be the topic of your show today, but I call in to ask. I watching Parliament right now, and they claim that they have took the job, both shots. Why all of them still wearing masks, of all of them, and they have took the job?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
It makes me believe that they ain't taking and they lying to us.
Well, okay. Well, you have a right to make that comment. All of them wearing masks?
All of them, except the one who was speaking at the time.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay.
Everyone wearing masks.
All right.
And they done took the shot long time, double dose. They bragging about that, but they all wearing masks. Every one of them.
So you don't believe that they took it in the first place?
No, sir. I believe they lying to us.
Okay.
Because America, as they took the people in America who took the shot, is not wearing masks anymore.
Well, let me put it this way. You have so many different views on this issue about the mask. Some states are saying you don't have to wear it. Some cities are saying you don't have to wear it. You have a whole lot of confusion in the minds of the public because you don't have, even with the health agencies, the World Health Organization, the CDC and others, all of them are saying things, but they're not all on the same page.
Well, right now, our parliament is not on the same page because of all of them and their claims that they already had the double jab and they showing off their passport or their card to say that they had took it.
Yes.
Why they are still wearing the mask a month after they done took double jab? Because they've been the first set that took it from a Cayman country.
Yeah, it's a good question. Maybe you have to present that to your parliamentarian.
So that's one man they don't see.
Your parliamentarian?
You didn't say talking about it. Speak to your representative, like people in the constituents to see them. You only see them when the election time they come knock to your door.
Well, then something has to be done about it, sir. And the question is, what are you going to do about it? I'm not saying you have the answer to it. You could think about it. But I do know this. We're going to need better representation than what we have right now. You say you're watching the House of Assembly right now.
Yeah, I watching them right now. They just came back in.
Yeah, just came back in. Supposed to come at 3 o'clock.
And I called you the last time and I asked the lady to give me your phone number or I leave my number, but you never called me back.
All right.
I don't want to speak to you because speaking on the air is not long enough for me.
All right. Well, leave it again then with the producer, and I'll make sure I get it from her. And I appreciate you reminding me about that.
All right.
I believe, to tell you, caller, I believe she did give me a number.
Yeah, but you never called.
No, I didn't get around to call. My apologies to you, because she did give me the information.
See, but that's why I say, I want to reach you, you don't want to reach me. So if you give me yours, I will call you. Because I remember talking to you some time ago, some years ago, crossing out to Duncombe, little convenience shop in Kennedy.
Yes, I remember that shop.
Okay,
yeah.
that was a long time ago.
That's a long time ago, yeah.
Very well.
Okay, well, what you could do is leave the number
all right, sir.
with the lady again.
I'll hold on fast.
Leave the name, and then I'll make sure and give you the call.
All right, sir.
Just hold on. Thank you very much indeed. Okay. Yes, people are watching the House of Assembly. It's back in, and this call is saying that they are wearing their masks. They got 2 shots of AstraZeneca, and they have their card, and he's saying he doesn't believe they took the shot. Why are they still wearing their card, their masks? There is a lot of confusion out there. Should we wear the mask after you take the 2 shots? Should you not wear the mask? Some cities are saying they don't have to wear it. Other cities are saying you must wear it. Some states are saying you don't have to wear it. Other states are saying you must wear it. So we are not all clear. There is no unified position. In the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, we need to have a unified position. We need to get clarity as to what the health challenges are. I understood from Dr. Dal Regis that if you were to catch the COVID, you won't get sick enough that you have to go to the hospital. Well, some families have had persons who died from COVID-related disease, and that is a serious issue. So you don't want to put yourself in the position where you catch the disease, you didn't take the test, and now you got a major difficulty, a major problem. Don't wait until that problem occurs. You should protect yourself. I'd encourage people to protect themselves. I want to live, you want to live. But he asked a very good point. Why are they still wearing their masks if they had the 2 shots of AstraZeneca? And there are some who say, well, they don't want to take AstraZeneca, they're going to wait and see. I can tell you that all during my childhood years and as I was growing up, I never knew what was in those shots. My mother made sure that all 9 of us, plus 3 grandchildren that they were responsible for, that's 12 in the house now, all of them got their shots. And we have had no negative impact from anything. I didn't know what was in them. I still don't know up to this day what's in them. I still get the flu shot. It hasn't done anything negative to me. Now, I've heard some people say they've had negative reaction. But personally, I've had no, I know it has been better for me had I not gotten the flu shot. I mightn't be able to talk on the radio today. But if it's something that's working in your best interest, that's what Article 24.1 says. You have to look out for your best interest. Some suggested to caller that he can inquire and find out why. I don't know the answer to it. But the thing is, we must protect ourselves. This is a deadly virus that took one member of my family, and I'm still grieving over that one. A young member of the family, not a senior member, a very young member. And they were telling us young people are supposed to be so strong, they're healthy. But it's taking out a lot of young people. And when you get as young as I am, they call you, you know. But I tell people you got to get as young as I am. But I want to stick around. You know, but we have to protect ourselves, Bahamians. We have to protect ourselves. We must look out for our own interests. Now, when it comes to representation, the gentleman said he don't see the representative. Let me just elaborate a bit on that. Why are you electing people you cannot see? Why? Why are you electing persons primarily from political parties that only come around when election time is on, and after election they just disappear into the midnight? Why are you still voting for them? You've been doing this for 55 years, Bahamians. 55 years since majority rule. Are you still doing the same foolishness? You already know how they play the game. And you can let them do it on you again? You can let them do it in 2022? When you see the hardcore evidence from a political party, don't mind them talking about this thing, that thing, and the next thing. They change here, they change there. The political parties in this country are set in their ways. There isn't going to be any change. You may see different faces. You may hear a few words here and a few words there change. But the hardcore evidence is right there in front of your face. Watch what they do. Watch how they govern. Watch how they operate when they're in opposition. Watch what they do when they're in government. Watch what they do when they're outside the government, when they're in opposition. Two major political parties have had the run of this country 55 years, next January the 10th. That's 11 election cycles, Bahamians. 55 years. And we can't get proper representation, parliamentary representation. We're getting party affiliation mixed up with proper parliamentary representation. Some people have gotten so discouraged, they say, well, no point voting anymore. What's the point? You run. And let me just say this, over the last 19 years, going on 20 next year, the Bahamian people have been dancing between two political parties, the FNM and the PLP. They put the PLP out the last time, bring in the FNM now. And it's been going on for 20 years. Next year would make 20 years. The same people you cast out 5 years ago, you're bringing them back in again. Obviously, the Bahamian people are dissatisfied with both major political parties. That's the hardcore evidence. Now, when I ask the question, well then, what's the replacement? I get a deafening silence. Now, maybe they're thinking, that's fine. Maybe they're thinking as to how they should vote in the next general election. And I've been on the register from 1972, 71, 70, because I voted in the 72 election. And I've kept my name on the register, the current register, ever since. And you should do the same thing. So in the event there's a referendum, there's a by-election, there's a general election, something that needs to be done and you have to make a determination on it, you own the register. Now, of course, they say this one is a permanent register. I got to look into that one. I've heard it. Whether it's constitutional or not, that's a different question again. But a lot of these things I like to study and prove. So when I come up with the evidence, I could tell you precisely whether it's constitutional or not. The opposition has never said to the Bahamian people whether this current register, which they say has been made permanent. Register is supposed to change every 5 years. But they say this current one, with all its flaws, with all its weaknesses, with all its shortcomings, because it came from 2012. 2012, 2017, going into 2022. 15 years. And the register is flawed. It has people on it who are not Bahamians. They say they're trying to clean it up. And they keep adding more people to the register. People coming up with fraudulent documents, claiming that they were born in the Bahamas. Huh? You know, many people say they were born in the Bahamas and now they're citizens. The Constitution never said everybody born in the Bahamas is a Bahamian. That's not in the Constitution. That's why you have Article 7.1. But unfortunately, there have been those who abuse Article 7.1 for their own selfish purposes. And that has caused a problem for the Bahamian people. It has caused a major problem for the country. We still have it today. Now, of course, if that, what the gentleman said, is so, we got to look into that ruling. I don't know. I just hear what he has to say on it. We're going to break. We'll be back after the break. This is your host, Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson, sitting in for Arthur H. Bodie Jr., my good friend. We'll be back after the break.
Express Yourself Live will return right after this. The Environment Speaks.
The Environment Speaks.
With host Joe Darville and co-host Jervon Hunt is on every Friday evening at 4 p.m. Listen in to be informed by Joe and his special guest. Let's keep the Bahamas clean right here on Global 99.5 FM, number one for R&B.
Balfour Consumer Fresh Meat Mart on the corner of Balfour Avenue and Charles Vincent Street brings you the best competitive prices in town.
Facts, y'all, facts.
Check out the 4-pack Suave Tissue, 2 for $3. So Fresh Hand Towel, 99 cents. Lace Chips, 12 for $5.99. Chef Boyardee, 4 for $5. Niagara Spray Starch, 3 for $6. Alberto Cornflake, $1.99. Meat packages from $14.99. 5-pound meatballs, $12.79. Sheep tongue, $2.99 per pound. Raw cooked shrimp, $9.99 per pound. Leg quarters, 99 cents per pound. Drumsticks, 89 cents per pound. Whole wings, $1.69.
Hold on, $1.69.
That's right, and ground beef, $3.89 per pound.
And they ship to the Family Island.
Shipping to the Family Islands and more. Balfour Consumer Fresh Meat Mart, where there's freshness you can taste and value you can trust. Open Monday to Thursday, 7 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sunday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Telephone 326-4702.
Balfour Consumer Fresh Meat Mart.
Reach.
What?
What you mean, what?
I ain't psychotic. I don't know what you're talking about.
The new Superwatch we've been talking about forever.
Oh, so where exactly it is?
On Carmichael Road, just before you get to Gladstone Road. That's if you're heading west.
I wonder how big this one is.
Big. 82 washers.
Well, motto.
And 64 dryers.
Now the time for the cowbell and drums.
And the pom-pom shorts.
Pom-pom shorts?
Yeah, you thought I was skylarking, eh? The pom-pom shorts is going on. I know how, but they going on.
You know if that elastic snap? No telling where this may end up.
You stay right there. You better try hard rub down in baby oil.
Superwash. They washes you, presses you, cleans you at their brand new Superwash on Carmichael Road West. Just before Gladstone.
Today's challenge, ease of doing business. Open System Technologies International is a leading provider of enterprise content management, business continuity, and cybersecurity solutions in the Bahamas. Scan, capture, archive your documents and files electronically, reduce the potential of fraud or the disclosure of confidential information, improve productivity and efficiency, be prepared for disasters and business continuity like Hurricane Dorian or COVID-19 pandemic. Save money on administration, printing, and off-site storage costs. Go paperless with a cloud enterprise content management subscription. Work remotely, work digitally, work safely. To learn more, contact us at 328-6736 or 603-6736. Visit our website at www.opensystems-bs.com. Open Systems Technologies International.
Hey folks, this just hot off the press. Photo Magic now has 3 locations. There's the Mall at Marathon, East Street and Andrews Avenue, and now check out the new location on Carmichael and Fire Trail Road. Photo Magic offers you the best with painstaking professionalism, cutting-edge digital printing, and specially designed packages. Wedding packages start at $700, photos only, and $1,300 including a DVD. Capture every sentimental or fabulous moment with Photo Magic, now offering you 3 locations. The Mall at Marathon, 601-0223. East Street and Andrews Avenue, 326-3825. And newly opened Carmichael and Fire Trail Road location, 603-0078. We'll see you at Photo Magic.
Quality seafood you can trust for service you can rely on. Visit Geneva Brass Seafood, number 19 Eden Street, Chippingham. Purchase quality tenderized conch, snappers, grouper fillet, and lobster tails, all at affordable prices. Geneva Brass Seafood is open Tuesday to Saturday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays and holidays, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Percy, Roberts, and staff are ready to serve you with pleasure. Geneva Brass Seafood, number 19 Eden Street, Chippingham. For quality seafood you can trust, for service you can rely on.
From South Beach to Bay Street.
I'm pleased, I really dig your company.
It's your chance to join the discussion of today's issue. Let your voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and globalradio99.5fm.com. Express yourself.
We're back. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson sitting in for my good friend Arthur H. Bodie Jr. on Express Yourself, Global Radio 99.5. Bahamians, this is a great day to be in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Don't mind them fellas talking foolishness and nonsense. We have a constitution that we ought to go by, and if the Bahamian people insist that the government of the Bahamas has no other choice but to run this country according to the Constitution. Now, see, if you sit back and do nothing about it, and you let them write crap on pieces of paper and say they're running the country that way, that's why we got the problems we have today. And one of the callers who called in got upset with me because I asked the question, and he wanted to say this current administration took Mr. Christie out. That's one good thing. That's problem solved. Well, then you're in the chair now. The people gave you the power. You got 35 seats out of 39. What have you done for the Bahamian people? What major problems have you solved? That is what you ought to be asking Bahamians, not some speed bumps. I am talking about some little petty things he did in Kalani, or intend to do in Kalani. The major problems the people have in Kalani have never been solved. These are constituency problems. The representative I have hasn't solved the constituency problems in Centerville. All we got are major problems in Centerville. All we got are major problems in Bain and Grantstown. All we got are major problems in Fort Charlotte. These are problems that have been festering and festering and festering for years and have not been solved. Bahamians, it's time that we get solutions to these problems. We must have that. That is extremely important. So you and I have a responsibility to make sure that it happens. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please. Caller, you there?
Hey, Sir Sidney.
Hey, how are you?
Your question, well, doing well. Your question I would like to answer because apparently a lot of people are calling in and not addressing your question.
No, they're not. Now, you know what the question is, right? Hold on, caller. You know what the question is?
Well, basically what you
said
is
let me repeat it. Let me repeat it.
Correct.
Let me repeat it. Now, this one goes to the government of the Bahamas, the same current administration.
Right.
What major national problems has the government of the Bahamas solved on behalf of the Bahamian people? And here are the clear-cut benefits that come to the Bahamian people as a result of these major national problems having been solved. But let me repeat the next one now.
Go ahead.
What major constituency problems has the representative of that particular constituency solved on behalf of the constituents of that particular constituency. And here are the clear-cut benefits that come to the constituents of that particular constituency after having these major constituency problems solved. Those are my two major questions. Go ahead, Colin.
And you see, Sidney, those questions are so well loaded. I don't know if any current representative can answer that.
Okay.
Because,
Okay, I hear you.
Because really, there is nothing, from the time I can remember, and I've been around quite some time.
Yes, sir.
I don't know of any major national problem that has been solved by any of the administrations. I just can't think of one now. If you could enlighten me with one, then I would like to hear that, but I really want to talk to you about something else. But tell me, because I don't know. I just ain't old enough to know.
I appreciate your honesty. Now, I'm going to put it this way.
Okay.
We have had administration after administration in the office of the government of the Bahamas. I do not know. I've been around for some time. I do not know of any major national problems having been solved in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas over, let's say, the last 30
But do you
plus
know
years.
why that was impossible to be done?
Now, there were some problems that were solved at the beginning. Some institutions were established at the beginning from 67 and coming into the early 70s. We could see the evidence of that. We have national insurance established. We have the defense force established. The police force was already here. Okay? But we saw some institutions established, College of the Bahamas for the education of the Bahamian people. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Now let's say over the last 30 years and coming forward, I haven't seen any major national problems having been solved, no new institutions created for the benefit of the Bahamian people to give them relief from the many social conditions that we have. I don't know of any.
Okay. But okay, so what you are clearly suggesting, sir, is simply this. We have been recycling non-performers who really can't, because in order for you to give something to Peter, you got to rob it from Paul. And this has been the situation we've been faced with from Jump Street.
Caller, you are 100% correct.
Yeah.
We have been recycling people over and over again who cannot solve problems.
Well, no, see, these people have professions. Some of them are doctors. Some are lawyers. Some are actually businessmen. Like we had one Minister of Immigration who was proudly saying he's proud to see how many people that he was able to give citizenship to.
Yeah,
and you know something that I found to be so strange?
Yeah.
Why are we charging $1.7 million for residency and giving citizenship away for free?
Isn't that something?
What kind of mess is this we dealing with, Sydney?
Yes, sir.
Anyway, I have an idea as to really what's going on. No elected politician can run this country because it's being done remotely by proxy by the British.
Okay.
That's really where we are. Because if you're going to have a ruling coming down now from some Privy Council, it means that you really have no governance. You see? So here we are, stuck in the middle of electing leaders who cannot govern, sir.
Okay.
They can't stand up to the Queen and say, guess what, Lady Queen? This English thing that you gave us ain't working. You told us it's 24 hours in a day, whereas I only teach 12 hours a day light.
Okay.
Stuff like that, Sir Sidney.
Okay.
You want me to give you some more?
So you feel that the Constitution that we have, which
no, remember I
says,
told you about that Constitution. I told you that's a bunch of garbage, and you want me for that. So I don't know why you want to bring that up.
No, but you have a right to your view. I'm not going to knock you for that. Okay, you have the Constitution gives you the right to express your view. It doesn't have to be right, you know. It could be dead wrong.
You could be dead right too.
Okay, well,
because when you really look at it, it's not controlled by us. When we have to make a final decision, we have to go find somebody else to go pay.
Because
so that's garbage.
But that's in the Constitution.
Yeah, but that's my point.
But it don't have to be, but the Constitution says it could be any other court apart from the Privy Council, you know. It don't have to be the Privy Council.
Okay.
But
well,
then
for some strange reason, we have to put money in the Queen's hands through the Privy Council. That's how she gets money. We used to pay Queen's fines. When you go to pay your traffic ticket, they used to have Queen's fines up. And I raised Cain about that, and they moved that sign down. That clearly,
Yeah, okay.
That clearly stated that this is not the Bahamas that belongs to Bahamians. This Bahamas is belongs to the British, sir.
Well, I am not going to dispute anything that you just said at that point, because the Constitution says plainly the executive authority of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas is vested in Her Majesty the Queen.
Why is that? Who is she? Why is that, sir?
It's in the Constitution.
No, but why did we put that in there? Because they gave it to us, right? We vested them for that because we were once slaves to them. We were what you call them, subjects. Why can't they just get rid of the Queen, man? The Queen don't even want to be a part of us. Why we got to be a part of her?
That's a good question you asked. But
Because
see,
Sydney, when you see the Queen, because if you ever having dinner with the Queen, and she has to get up because of indigestion, you have to stop eating. Who the dignity she is?
okay.
All right.
Yeah, caller, you finished?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you for your contribution. The caller has some valid points, and I apologize if I did ball him out for making his expression about the Constitution. Maybe I might have misunderstood him, and I apologize publicly if I did misunderstand him. But he has the right to express his view about the Constitution. Now, if he is wrong, and I know the Constitution very well because I'm a professor of law, I can't allow him to get away with it. Now, he asked about the Queen. The Queen of England has the executive authority of this country. That's a whole article. If we don't want it that way, we have to change the Constitution. That's article in the Constitution. I'm not quite sure which one it is. Somewhere 70-something. I'm not quite sure. But the point is, that's one sentence, that's an article. And the Queen ain't just here as a figurehead. Some of y'all think she's a figurehead. No, sir. The executive authority of the country is vested in Her Majesty the Queen. They didn't say in the Governor General. They didn't say in Parliament. But the powers are shared with the Governor General, who represents Her Majesty the Queen, and then with Parliament, which consists of the Senate, which consists of the House of Assembly. That's the way it is. Now, he may have some feelings about that, and that's understood, but we have not changed. See, a lot of things about the Constitution, our people are not educated. So people get agitated when they hear these things, and that's understandable. But the point is, a lot of us do not know. Now, let me say something about the lawyers. The lawyers have dominated this country from day one, all the way back from 1729. The businessmen, the rich, powerful minority business people, and they still do today, and the legal profession. The legal profession has had complete control. The Senate, the judiciary, the House of Assembly, and the government. And institutions of the government, departments of the government. Because everyone had some legal training of one kind or another, or was a lawyer. Every time you look around, the two major parties, they got more lawyers than you could shake a stick at. But the people of the Commonwealth of Bahamas know nothing about law. Here we are in 2021, and the Bahamian people are oblivious to what the law says. Now, they ain't know nothing about no constitutional law. I can tell you that right off the top. Now, they ought to know about the Constitution, so we could bring some changes to that document. The document is supreme. Now, I understand this ruling that came up. I have to look at that. The Winder ruling, which went to the Privy Council. But the Privy Council is the highest court. But either that court or some other court that Bahamian people could choose as to be their high court. It don't have to be the Privy Council. But somehow the persons we have elected seem to be stuck on that. Because it'll be another court. But however, it's the Privy Council. So Bahamians, listen to me carefully. One who knows better, have to tell you better. And when it comes to the Constitution, I could tell you better on that one. Now you got hundreds, if not thousands, of statute laws in different areas. But the people don't know about these laws. That's why they are such a nuisance in the communities. People don't know the law. And the lawyers have not taught them about law. The only time you see them when you get in trouble, you beat up somebody, knock the head off, or do something terrible, then they come run and say they want to represent you. Then you got to shell out money for doing foolishness. People don't even know how to settle basic, fundamental differences. That's how we have become. And the legal profession has become very greedy, always looking for money. Speak to a lawyer, you got to pay him something. Huh? They call it legal advice. I think I went to see one in 1971. I haven't been to see none since. Except on one other occasion, when I was dealing with the National Association of Justices of the Peace. And I told them at that time, I said, listen, let me give you a word of advice. The lawyer is going to give you his, either one or two things. His opinion of the law, or two, what the law says. There's a vast difference between the two. Just like the judge sitting on the bench gave his legal opinion of the law. But it doesn't have to be law. That's why you can appeal it. The magistrate giving a ruling on the bench, it could be figmentation in the magistrate's head. It nothing to do with no law. But some of them believe they could write law from the bench, which is foolishness and nonsense. And so the point is, Bahamians, you have to understand these things. You have to be acquainted with some basic fundamental principles about the Constitution so you could be an effective citizen. The man done say when he elect the fella, can't see him. Don't see him. Just come snooping around election time. And you know what has been happening, 55 years plus. I've seen all of it. And for the last almost 20 years next May, the Bahamian people have shown their displeasure, kicking out the PLP, kicking out the FNM, kicking out the PLP, kicking out the FNM, and then 5 years later say, come back. Is that the way we're going to run this country? Is that the way we're going to go for the next election? Is there any alternative, Bahamians, to these two political entities that have been running this place for 55 years? That's 11 election cycles, Bahamians. Think about that. 11 election cycles. And what have you gotten? We're so far worse now than ever before in 2021. This is the worst I have seen it in this country. I've seen all of it from the beginning. Majority rule straight through. And let me tell you, Bahamians, it doesn't look good today. And with that ruling coming out, if that is the ruling, and I have no reason to disbelieve to call it called in, but I can check out that ruling. But we do have some challenges as a people in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And we're going to have to make some hard decisions. Mr. Producer, we have a caller? Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
How you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
This is Maradona, man, Sam Williams.
Hey, Sam Williams, what's going on, man?
I have something I really wanted to talk to you about.
Yes, sir.
Do you know Somalia Butler Highway?
Yes, sir.
They then passed that, and they was going to call it Mandela Highway. And then I went to the meeting, and I slipped inside the door. Then I slipped in the door. They say, anybody else have anything to say? I said, I have something to say.
Good.
And I hit the floor. Brother, when I hit the floor, I say, we have all these Bahamians in this country, and you're going to name that highway Mandela Highway? I say, no way. I started to take my necktie off. They say, Sam, what you want? You know, I'm the man who would present to the government Somali Butler Highway.
Yes, sir.
And they went and they passed that and they approved that. What you hear every day on the radio? Somali Butler and Tony Darling Highway. I'm the one who made that happen. I went to the party and I tell them to change that. They cannot give that to Mandela Highway. Make that Mandela Highway. And I did that.
Well, I appreciate that, Sam, because see, this is what I keep saying to people when the caller called in. One of my callers called in.
Yeah.
And he said about his representative. He can't see him. He can't talk to him because he don't see him.
But I fight for that. I fight for that.
Well,
and
I'm glad
you know they wrote the book and they didn't even put me in the book.
But Sam, you one of those persons who fight.
Yes, I fight for that. I squeeze in there and the place is full of people. And I stood up and I say, you all have to be sick in this building. All of you, we get Bahamians we can give this to. And you're giving the system, giving it to Mandela? I say, no way. Now, I made them change it from Mandela and change it to Somali Butler Highway. And that's how Somali Butler got that in this nation.
Well, Sam, I really appreciate you informing the public about that. Because, see, a lot of them don't know a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes. And I'm happy.
But they forgot me in this country. They forgot me. They say I haven't did nothing.
No, you did a lot.
They say I haven't did nothing.
Just by getting in there and speaking your voice to the Bahamian people, or to them at that time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, we're going to need some Bahamians to stand up.
Just like how we stand up in this country.
Just like how we stand up, and I'm going to tell you
right now. Look at my in Moxie Park. That name is the Pond Park. I make sure that name come down. When they pass it, me and Chippy fight for that. And they say, we haven't done nothing.
Yeah.
But that's life.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, it's life. Thank you, Sam.
All right.
I'm happy that he was the one that intervened and caused that highway to be called Somali Butler Highway, not no Mandela Highway. While I have high respect for Mandela, but he did something in South Africa. And they could find things fitting in South Africa for him. But he also impacted the world. We mustn't forget that either. But Somali Butler was the first Bahamian Governor General. And they named the highway Somali Butler Highway after Sam Williams intervened. And that's good. We need more intervention by Bahamians. Now, one Bahamian did that. Now, what do you think would happen if we have thousands of Bahamians in their constituencies coming together, intervening, and dealing with parliamentary representation? The gentleman said he don't see him. There's a way to deal with people you don't see. You don't see him, he don't see you. You don't support him. That's what we have to do. We have to get serious. So the point is, let's do what we have to do to help our country. This has been your host, Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson, on the Global Radio Network 99.5. Have a pleasant afternoon.